is there a point where mixed media can be considered going a little bit too far? If you're new to mixed media is when in one artwork you using different type of art supply, not just different color, but different material altogether, like watercolor and gouache, or acrylic and oil pastel, or maybe marker with pens, and so on. Mixed media doesn't limit itself to just two art supply. You can go as crazy as you like, but when it starts to be too crazy. I recently did this artwork, which did not just symbolize the end of another sketchbook. So by the way, guys, another sketchbook tour is coming soon, and this sketchbook is completely falling apart. But it also drives me insane because there is so much going on in this painting that you guys have no even idea. So I'm going to share with you the entire process of me creating this painting, and I also write all of the art supplies that I've been using. And I need you guys to tell me in the end of the video if that was a bit too much. It definitely felt a bit too much for myself, and it felt overwhelming at time, and I just wanted to give up. But I kept pushing until I was completely satisfied with my artwork. So can actually mixed media art can be taken a little bit too far? There should be a limit of how many art supply you can use physically on an artwork. Let's check the process and let's answer those questions. Let's begin. The sketchbook I'm using is a cold press watercolor paper from Creative Peak. It's 300 GSM, so it's quite thick paper, and it has a some texture to it. So I decided to use watercolor as my base, and I added some water. That's all the shyness you guys see, to outline where I want the watercolor to spread and go. And that's the base of my flower. And I decided to use the purple color from Creative Peak. And yeah, I realized that I had way too much water, and I had a little puddle there in the middle, so I took out some of the water, but I didn't think that that would take out also some of the pigment from watercolor, and I will regret later on don't have a slightly stronger tone of base. Because I'm not a person that can wait for drying time, you guys know that, I decided to work a little bit on the outside, and I had inspiration from the inside of my flower, but I had no idea what to do with the surrounding. So I decided to use this green pearlescent color that I got in a scroller box subscription recently, and I really liked when it got in contact with the water and created its little spreading. I felt like it was just what I wanted and what I needed. Then I decided to use some black fine liner to just outline once again the outside. I was still waiting from the inside to dry, so you see me moving back and forth quite a bit. It depends on the supply that I get to use. Time to play with a little bit of gouache on the inside, and actually I wish I worked with the gouache a little bit sooner when it was still wet, because I could have used the spreadability of the water, but In my type of style, I'm sort of getting inspired as I go, so it's okay to make mistake and go back and forth. What I'm doing anyway is try to fill up all the petals, but in a way that is not stiff and it has flow and movement. So I'm creating a base of a darker purple gouache, and then I let it spread around, but still I'm not filling the entire petal. You will see me later on adding different tones of purple and other color. In the meantime, I felt like my little sketch was disappearing, and I really like the movement I created with my pencil, and so I decided to use this silver acrylic paint marker from Rani to just outline my petal, but yeah, that is not going to be enough for me. You will see that coming soon. And as I mentioned before, I am going to fill up each petal with a different tone of purple. This purple pink that is also gouache, and I'm going also with some ochre. This is the time where I felt like I really wish I had used a darker purple base from my watercolor. So the very first step, I wish it was not really dark but slightly more visible, because me removing the puddle of water meant also me removing some pigment. I'm going back to my acrylic marker because I felt like I could use the color also on the outside, because yeah, I was taking care of the inside, but I needed to be inspired and work also on the outside. So you will see a lot of material coming back, like here I'm using a fine liner, a black one but different one, because I felt like the silver wasn't letting my petal pop and be defined in the way that I enjoyed. And yeah, at the same time, I still felt like there were gaps in my petal, and I use these two different color of new color one that I own, and just to create more texture, more variety of color, and some extra interest. I have already lost count to how many supply I use, but we are probably halfway through. Yes, the Posca pen are appearing, and I wanted to create still more layering and more interest in that purple base that was my flower, and this is why I decided to use this lilac Posca pen. While I take you along with me in this process, it's not just about the material. At this point, to be honest, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed by the choice of art supply, by not be able to getting what I was actually looking for from this piece at this point. So my options were to give up, to just choose maybe one medium that I know I'm good at, and to just rely on that one to maybe be more realistic and let go of the flowing style that I enjoy. Or I could have just kept on adding material and supply until I find the perfect blend. And the truth is, I hear this sentence many times, and I think it's completely true. Just the artist decide when the artwork is over. And what this means is that, in my opinion, doesn't really matter how many supplies you using on a painting, as long as the painting it speaks to you and it's considered done by you. You can give up, of course, and just maybe come back another time, or leave it in your pile to let go, or maybe do some collage with it or something else. Or you can keep on going until you find the perfect end, and the perfect end arrives. And so, in my opinion, there's not a limit of how many supplies you can mix together. And I do love the idea of actually using as many of my supply as I can at once. It just makes me feel like I am actually using them. I feel like my purchase was actually meaningful, and it adds, in my opinion, a lot of value to my piece, and allow me to experiment and be joyful with my own art. Thank you so much, guys, for watching until the very end, and I really hope you learned something from this video, or at the very minimum you felt inspired to go out there, use your supply and create in whichever way you find inspiring for you. And if you're still watching until now, you can let me know by writing mixed media down in the comment. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.